Everyone, Kareem here, and today I have the pleasure of interviewing Alexis Souahy, a professional soccer player at Union Omaha. Alexi, how is it going?
Good, good. It's my pleasure to be here speaking with you.
Absolutely. So one of my favorite questions to ask is, could you just take us back in time and share how you got involved in the beautiful game?
Oh, that's probably about over 20 years ago. Probably the similar stories as most of the players. Got involved with football from the playing in the streets with my friends and just falling in love with the game. And a couple of my friends were they were playing for the hometown club, and they invited me to join them with the playing with the club. And from there, the story goes on.
For sure. What country are you from?
I'm from France.
Yeah. Okay. I can hear the France accent a little bit.
Yeah.
France is a beautiful place. Football is the number one sport in France. So coming from France to the US. How did that happen, and how was the transition for you?
Yeah, so I was in an academy in France until the age of 19. It's an academy called Le Havre. They are currently playing in the first division, and had great years there, great memories, amazing level of football. And I was coming in my last year of a contract, and some agency reached out to the club and mentioned that players can pursue their education and as well keep playing soccer. So I just reached out to them, and I asked them to hear more about it, and I really love the idea about doing both and continuing my education while playing, because this is not an option back home. By the age of 19, you have to make a decision. You can't. There's no programs such as NCAA or anything like it in France that where you can combine both. So I really wanted to continue my education, not stop with a high school degree, and I kept in touch with that agency, and through combines where coaches from the US came to watch, and as well from video footage from academy games. I got several offers, and I ended up going to Bowling Green State University in NCAA D1.
Nice. Moving from France to the US is not an easy transition. What advice would you give to players that are in France or in other countries around the world that want to go to the US? What advice would you give to them?
Um, well, I would say be strong mentally, because the transition is very brutal. There is a huge culture shock when you arrive, but at the same time, you have to embrace it, because once you embrace it, this is probably the best decision of my life I made to come to the US. And the moment you get to embrace the culture, embrace the language, and learn more and be open minded about it, um, your daily lifestyle will follow, and you will be happy off the field and obviously on the field as well. So I would just say embrace the change.
Absolutely. And did you already know? Were you learning English in France before you came to the U.S.?
Yeah. Language is the second. English is the second language back home, but my level was very poor. I had to basically start from zero, because in French schools the teacher is French, so she teaches English with the French accent. So coming to America and with the American accent, it was a whole different. It felt like a whole different language for sure.
Got it. What were you studying in university?
I did international business.
International business, and then you were there. How many years were you there before you transitioned?
My 4 years. So actually, my first year, I had to go to a D2 school called Notre Dame College. I had to finish up some high school degree, some high school classes I didn't get to do in France. So I did 1 year in Notre Dame College, and then came back to Bowling Green for sophomore, junior, and senior year.
So then, after your 4 years, you went straight to pro, or
Yes, I did. After the fourth season of my senior year, Louisville City reached out to my coaches and and through phone calls with them, and kind of like they had this interesting interview process that they're really focusing on recruiting good people. And so after a couple phone calls, and they offered me a contract, so that's where my pro career started at Louisville City.
That's a very important piece that I, I'd like to create more awareness for players, knowing that it's not about it's about being a good player as well, but also a good person that you mentioned. So from there, you started your career off in Louisville. Uh, what's the club name again? Louisville FC or
Louisville City FC.
Louisville City FC? You started your career from there, so that's a USL Championship team. Have you always been playing in USL Championship?
Yeah, this is my first year in a non-USL Championship team because Union Omaha is playing in League One. But yeah, I was with Louisville City FC for 4 seasons, and then last season I was with New Mexico United.
Nice. Great clubs. If you can say what club has been your favorite to play at so far out of those three clubs that you've mentioned, Union Omaha, New Mexico United.
Uh, it's a hard choice because I would probably have to go with Louisville City because I spent 4 years there. 4 years is in your life is a long time. So when you spend that much time in a city in a club, you get to build strong connections. But I had an amazing experience at New Mexico United with a great group of players and organization that care about their players and care about the community around. So to be honest, it's been the clubs I've been around have been great so far.
Nice. What position do you play, and what specific skills and attributes do you believe are essential for success in that role?
I'm a center back. I play defense. So if you watch me, you will see me as a leader in the back line. Always talking, always leading the team. Trying to read the trying to read the game, anticipate, being strong indoors. Uh, that that would probably that's probably what my strengths are. I can also play out of the back. In every teams I've played, I've been around that. That was the motto of the team to start from the back, build up from the back. Catalyst of playing possession based. I mean, in today's football, you kind of have to be an all-around player. You can't just base your career off of one strength or the other. I think it's very important that you need to be good at everything. Obviously, maybe 2 3 points where that's where you get your strength. But with today's sport, there is more and more players around, and weaknesses are harder to see now. So if you can get at least good enough for in every aspect of the game, that would be a solid foundation for sure.
Absolutely, great points. How do you handle the pressure and expectations that come from being a professional soccer player, both from fans and yourself?
I always see it as positive pressure because at the end of the day, it's just a game. So there is people in life that have real pressure. How do I feed my kids? How do I survive? How people go through different battles in daily life. So I see soccer more as a game, and the way I handle pressure, I just keep it positive pressure. That is a pressure that I need to perform at the highest level.
Yeah, that's a great point. Positive pressure. That's the first time I've heard of that. So that's a good mental attitude to have.
Mhm.
I remember always hearing in France, it's like they used to always say when I played down there for when I was trying out, they always used to say attitudes, attitudes, attitudes. So
Mhm.
that's a really great attitude right there.
Yeah, for sure.
Could you share some insights into the challenges and sacrifices you've had to make to reach the current level you are in professional soccer?
Yeah, at the current level, well, the first biggest obstacle would be playing across the continent from my family, and friends. You know, it's not easy um, to be here for most of the year, and you know, you have your family with the time difference and everything. You know, harder to reach out on a daily basis and not missing big events like family holidays, weddings, birthdays, you know. So this is the biggest challenge, to accept the sacrifice of taking these steps just for the love of the game, you know. I would say that's the biggest obstacle. And then the daily challenge is competition, you know, you're on a team, competitive team, and you know, you're fighting for a spot, you're fighting for milestones like winning titles, starting a game. You know, there's many goals in a player's career. So whichever your goal is, you know, it comes with a challenge. You know, and there's ups and downs in careers that sometimes set you back, and you need to be strong enough to bounce back from it.
For sure. What advice would you offer to young aspiring soccer players who look up to you and hope to follow in your footsteps?
I would say first, most uh, just enjoy the game. Uh, don't lose the love of the game, because the moment you lose it, you're going to lose yourself on the field. Um, I remember there was one point in my career. I was in my senior year of college, and I was so focused on making it pro the year after. I was so focused on the draft and you know all those things that come with it, that I was kind of losing myself on the field. And my coach came to me after a training session, and said, "What's up, man? Like, what's going on? Is everything okay at home?" I'm like, "Yeah, everything is great." I was kind of confused, you know, because everything was going good off the field. And then he came back to me the day after. Is if everything is good on the field, off the field, is because something is going on the field. Like, is your head okay? And I was like, well, you know, contracts are gonna be up for grabs in a few months, and you know, this is kind of stressing me. And he gave me the best advice to just love the game and focus on what I do best, which is helping the team reach like wins and you know all that stuff. So I would say just don't lose yourself in too much in the end goal, and focus on more the present, and at the same time stay disciplined.
Those are great points. Um, what changed for you, you know, going from university to professional soccer player? Um, you're now getting paid for what you love to do. So, and this is a little bit while back for you now, a few years. But in that time when it was still new, what changed for you? Because now you're getting paid for what you love to do, and there comes some strings attached to that. You gotta perform. You got winning is important. It's not just for fun anymore. It's, you know, there's money involved. There's, you know, titles involved. So, um, what changed for you?
A lot of things. First thing is you go from being a student athlete to being an adult, so it comes with responsibilities. You know, as a student athlete, you get your meal plan. You everything is given to you. You know, you're privileged. The school does everything for you. There's people to help you on a daily and all that. Once you turn pro, you know, you're kind of on your own, and you have to, you know, things as simple as learning how to cook, learn how to rest your body, learn how to just take care of bills and a lot of stuff like this. So you just need to learn how to be an adult, you know. And as it might sound crazy, but it's actually enjoyable to become an adult back then, you know. Not having always someone watching you and making sure you do things right, you know. You get to experience and learn from mistakes and just grow up, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the beauty of life at the same time.
Definitely. The last question I'll ask you before I have some fun questions as well. Um, in your experience, how has soccer contributed to building culture, connections, and friendship between players? from diverse backgrounds?
It's been tremendous. I mean, you know, we've said I come from France. You know, whole different culture, whole different language. I get to university and I get to meet thousands of people on a daily. You know, and I get to meet new teammates. But yeah, the sport has been giving me so many opportunities, so many connections, and this is I rate those connections because one day or another they will be needed. And for me or for the people I met, you know, I often get messages from people back then. Hey, do you have this person's number? Do you know who I need to reach out to? You know, there's always, you know, I see those relationships as positive because I love helping people, and there's also people around me that love helping me. So if we can help each other in some ways, that's very important, you know.
Absolutely. I got some fun questions. They're speed questions, though, so you got to
Okay.
answer fast.
Okay, I will try my best.
Okay. What is your favorite food?
It's a French dish called raclette. It's a cheese based. If you look it up, it's basically we uh, we we melt the cheese in sort of a machine and we put it on top of potatoes and it comes with a charcuterie and all that. It's amazing. You need to try it. It's very similar to fondue, but the cheese is much better.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Um, what's your favorite movie?
Wolf of Wall Street.
Wall Street. What's your favorite activity besides soccer?
Golf.
What's your favorite music artist? Or I should say, who is your favorite music artist? That's the better way to ask.
Burna Boy.
For the boy, yeah. Messi or Ronaldo? Well, Alexi, those are all the questions I had. Was there anything that I missed or that you would like to add in?
No, nothing. It was great speaking with you, and it was great sharing my experience. And I hope it will help somebody. You know.
For sure. Well, before we go, I'd like to take the time to thank you for taking the time for joining me on the One Soccer Nation podcast today.
Thank you.